All right, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to say thank you for your kindness and extending courtesies to me for being a little late. My name is Jacque Howard, the creator and host of the Trenton 365 show, and I'll be moderating today's West Ward City Council Forum through Mercer Street Friends. We've got a few announcements to make. As you all know, the doors that you came in is one exit for you to go out. In case something happens, there's also one behind you as well, and if you have to, there's one to the left. If anything does happen, please make sure that you walk nicely and cordially there. Next, please make sure that you silence your mobile devices. You don't have to turn them off, but silence them because they do interfere with our recording. This information here tonight will be recorded and distributed through 78 Ways Studio Films. In addition to that, Mercer Street Friends will have this available on their website as well. All the candidates will get a copy of that. Just to let you know, all of the candidates for at-large and for the West Ward were invited tonight. We did receive notification from some of the candidates that they will not be here, so that's why they are not here. But we do have the 4 West Ward candidates here tonight. We're going to do things a little bit different if some of you have been to the other Mercer Street Friends forums. Since we have the specific ward representatives here, we're going to give them an opportunity to really hyper-focus on the West Ward and to share a bit about their platforms in detail. Before I do that, I'd like to share a bit about Mercer Street Friends. Mercer Street Friends is in its 60th year. Let's give them a round of applause for that. In addition to that, can I have the representatives from Mercer Street Friends give a wave so that you can all acknowledge who they are? All right, we even got someone way in the far back there. Great, thank you so much. In addition to that, our timekeeper, let's give a wave for our timekeeper so all the candidates can see who's keeping time. Robin, did you get him? Timekeeper? All right. To get started, I'm going to ask each of the candidates, and they're seated in ballot position 1 being to my far right, moving towards the left. I'd like for you to set the time for 2 minutes to give them 2 minutes for opening remarks. Robin, you are up first.
Hello, my name is Robin Vaughn, and I am candidate for West Ward Councilwoman. I am a third-generation Trentonian. My parents have lived in the Hillcrest community for over 30 years. I, myself, am both inspired and compelled to run. I am inspired because at the end of one of the most phenomenal leaders in our country, presidency, he had challenged all of us to say, if we are not happy with our government and our leadership, that we should take up a pen and a clipboard and run for office yourself. Here I am today, running for office because I am not happy at all with our current leadership and how they have led our city. The city of Trenton has a failing economy, it has failing schools, and our taxes have increased exponentially, and our services continue to decline. I want to ensure that I now get a seat at that table so that I can help move our city along. As residents, we can no longer continue to vote the same individuals into office that we have been voting for the past 30 or 40 years and expect different results. So I am asking that you consider my candidacy, Robin Vaughn, number 1 on the ballot, West Ward Councilwoman.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Shirley Gaines, and before I get started, I want to take time out and thank Mercer Street Friends for putting this together for us. Also thank Jacque Howard for bringing the community together, and I want to thank all of you for being here this afternoon. I am running for West Ward City Council because, number one, I care about the issues that have been plaguing our communities. I'm concerned about the quality of life here in our communities, and I'm also confident that I'm capable of doing my job in City Hall to help rise up our community once again. I am number 2 on the ballot. I am a Trentonian, born and raised here in the city of Trenton, New Jersey. I love Trenton. I don't like what's going on in our city at the present time, but I know with new leadership that things will rise again. So if you're ready for change here in the city of Trenton, vote for me, number 2 on the ballot. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Zachary Chester. I am the West Ward Councilman and City Council President. I am running because I want to continue to do the work that I have started here in the West Ward. There are many things that I'm going to discuss this evening of things that I have been working on. I want to thank Mercer Street Friends for bringing the community together and holding this forum to give you an opportunity to hear from myself and the others. I'm running again because there is so much work that still needs to be done. When I came in, I was approached by a resident here and informed me about a home that is still sitting on her block that is sitting vacant. I believe that that home can be revitalized and put back on the tax rolls. And in order to do that, we must have a council and an administration that is going to work together. And to get these things accomplished, we need to have big development and we need to have small development in our city. I have worked with a number of nonprofits on different issues here in the city when it comes to literacy, when it comes to camps, when it comes to programs at the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club. I want to continue to do that work as the West Ward Councilman. I am number 3 on the ballot. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Atalia Armstrong. I am also running for West Ward City Council, and I'm number 4 on the ballot. The issues of crime, education, lack of programs, and resources all change when we hold those who vow to protect our interests accountable. I'm calling for accountability, community, and transparency, both within our government and neighborhoods. My background involves a wide range of both historical research, educational activism, and advocacy. From PTA to CASA to Homefront, my years of being the voice of opposition, being a voice for the voiceless, and my reputation for working well with others prepares me to be the best representative of the West Ward. I come to this race with nothing more than being a concerned resident of Trenton's West Ward and nothing less than being tired of being sick and tired, recognizing that somewhere along the line we've normalized our neighborhoods like war zones, accepted extremely high property taxes, and a community that is not economically progressive or reflective of the 21st century, a clear indictment upon this current administration. Trenton is not unlike other cities in terms of challenges that must be addressed. My position as councilwoman would be to represent and advocate what my constituents' interests are. I do that by ensuring the mayor presents a comprehensive budget that is reflective of the concerns and the needs of the people. I do that by ensuring the administrators, boards, and commissions that are appointed are representative of the radical change we so desperately need, and I do that by working collaboratively with the community. There will be challenges, yet if we work collectively, we can achieve great things. I am ready to put this passion to work and hope to be the one that represents you with your vote on May 8th. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much from all the candidates. In addition, going forward, let's just please make sure that we hold any applause to the end of the program. That way we can make sure that the program is expedited completely. This first question will begin with Robin, and we'll go down through the candidates in the same order that we did in regards to their opening remarks. The first question: share your knowledge about our educational system and its current status, And please include any information that you have or know about community schools. Robin Vaughn.
What I know currently about the Trenton School District is per the last report that was issued by our state, the New Jersey Department of Education. And it ranked the Trenton schools in the lower tier, the bottom tier of school districts per performance out of 2,300 schools. So our kids are suffering at the hands of a school system that's clearly has shown of its ineptness to meet their requirements and educating them and preparing them for the competitive marketplace globally. Our schools have been through, over the years, several different approaches. They've been chopped up. You have high schools that have been, we had one central high school that has been divided into several high schools. We get different type of, we get various superintendents that are rotatable. It has become quite chaotic. I would like to see an assessment done on where we are with our school board, with our administration as far as the teachers, the principals, the superintendent, as well as the teachers union. The teachers union. I would like to understand how all these entities are working together and how they come up with different programs and solutions that support our students.
Can you repeat that question?
Share your knowledge, in short, share your knowledge about the educational system and its current status, and any information or knowledge you have about community schools.
Okay. First and foremost, our public school system is in trouble. It's in serious trouble, and there is need for change. And I'm also aware, as I hear often, that because council is not directly involved with the school, it kind of limits us. But I know as an independent resident, that I can approach and attend the school board meetings and maybe hear some things that can help and bring it back to council and hear their thoughts or their views concerning what can we do independently, just as a resident, just as a representative of our community, what can we do to help our neighbors. Also, I am in favor of community schooling. I have done research on it, and one thing that I have learned about community schooling is this. The students' learning improve, their behavior improve, absenteeism, it improves. The families have more opportunities of support and decision-making when it comes to their children's education, and maybe the public schools should look into something like that, because community schooling from research and study is definitely starting to work. Thank you. You're welcome.
So, Jacque, may I ask you that question, repeat that question one more time?
Okay. All right. In short version of it, share your thoughts about the current educational system in Trenton, where it is currently, and any knowledge you have about community schools. Sure. So I have been meeting with the superintendent of schools, and he has talked about a number of programs that he's instituting, bringing back paraprofessionals. The school district is going to purchase more busing. I'm a member of the School Board of Estimates, and we just approved $4 million to do capital improvements across the district. We also approved
through the Board of Estimates, a 2% increase in funding to the school district coming from the city. Those two will go to City Council for final approval. And community schools, I've seen the community school work right here at Gregory. I've come in and I've met with the principal. I've seen the literacy program that goes on here, the number of books that have been raised. The principal was informing me in reference to mental health services and social services programs that are being provided here in Gregory School. So community schools is working. It takes a school district and a nonprofit organizations to come together to provide those services that the school district is not capable or able to provide. I am not going to stand here and say that our school district is not a good school district, because we have great teachers, we have excellent students. Do we have problems? Yes, we do. But I'm not going to put down our students, and I'm not going to put down our teachers, because they work hard. I've been in and out of this school. Thank you.
My platform is accountability, transparency, and community. What I know of the Trenton public education system is that the failures of it are systemic. And we can bring in all the programs and resources to support these kids, but it will not work in a comprehensive way until we address the mismanagement that has gone on with the Board of Education for years. There are like 109 positions to be cut as we speak, and that's from special education, art teaching, English, the gamut, school counselors, everything. Until we address why we keep bumping heads against these same issues, the Trenton public school system will not be fixed. We will still see students leaving this system to go to charter, school choice, or whatever the options are. Because again, the issues of the public school system are no accountability and mismanagement of funds. Those are the issues that we need to address. Yes, we do have great children here, we have great students, but it could be better for them if we can get that under control. Thank you.
This next question is going to be started with Shirley Gaines. You're going to be the first one to answer. Proceeding down, Robin, you will be the last person to answer. Please share your thoughts and the plan that you have for the former Mercer Hospital facility.
Thank you. First and foremost, I think it's definitely was a shame for the hospital to close in the first place. As far as me having plans, I'm just going to be honest, I don't have plans, but I will work with them that do have a plan for Mercer Hospital. I believe it's going to start with the mayor and a few other organizations that will come together, sit down at the round table, and discuss what is the best options for Mercer Hospital right now. There are so many opportunities that can be done at Mercer Hospital, but it's going to start with planning. So I will support any organization that is doing something positive to help bring back, we can't bring back the hospital, but to bring back whatever positive activity or whatever they're going to have that will uprise and make that area look better and inviting again. Thank you.
So I will continue to meet with the owners of the former Mercer Hospital campus. There is a plan. There's a plan to invest $20 million across the street to bring in senior services, veteran services, and other health services and wellness. Currently, the owner is planning to invest $250,000 in the medical arts building to do beautification on the outside and to do renovations on the inside. But none of that work can be done unless the administration is working with them. So as a councilman, I can meet with the owner, understand what he wants to do, and then work with the administration to say, let's get this done. So there is a plan. I will continue to do the work. I've met with him 3 times this year, and he's one step closer, but there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done in order for him to actually get the permits and start the work. But in order for that to happen, he has to have an administration, a mayor, that will sit down and iron out some of the problems that he's having. But once I'm reelected, I will continue to work with him and whomever becomes mayor that we need to put this piece of property back on our tax roll and have it occupied. Thank you.
I'm like Dr. Shirley Gaines. I don't really particularly have a plan. If I was sitting council right now, I would probably meet with the community to see what it is they would like to see there. If there is such plan, I would let the community know what is going on with the building, that there's possibility, and we want to make sure that whomever brings a plan for Mercer, for that campus, that is sustainable. We see a lot of things happen here, like grocery stores and things of that nature, but they do not stay. We want to see whatever comes, whatever happens over there with the campus, that it is for the community, about the community, and is sustainable for at least 30 years. Thank you.
Yes. I would, Jacque, can you just repeat that question one more time?
So in short, the former Mercer hospital site, share information that you know about it, and in particular, if you have a plan.
Yep. This is my first time hearing that there is a potential buyer for that property. It would have been good to know as a resident of Trenton in the West Ward that there was the city has put up the property for sale, and I would definitely would want to have known what various plans or proposals that were put forward. But as Councilman Chester just informed, that there is a buyer. But nonetheless, I would put this in a category with all the other vacant properties that are in and around the West Ward that needs to be either purchased or have a plan put around, rather it be assessed for demolition, rather be assessed for, again, its tax status, rather it's tax exempt, exempt, paying taxes, and who are the owners. So I would propose that we do an assessment across the West Ward on all empty, vacant buildings, understanding who the owners are and what the city going forward, if they're empty, not generating any tax revenue to the base, that we get an understanding and take that inventory. And Mercer Hospital should be treated no differently.
Trenton has often suffered from a negative impression throughout the media, whether that's print media or actually on radio and television. Please share your thoughts about the media and how it plays a part in Trenton. Zach, you were up first.
Well, as someone that's always in the media for something negative instead of the positive things that are going on in the city, there isn't much that a council person can do, because you can have the conversation with the reporter and give the reporter the facts and what you're trying to do, and they're going to write what they want to write. And so the way how we can change our image and to get more positive things going out is forums like this and resources that Will and yourself are providing to the city, streamlining the good things that's going on. We have publications, the Nubian News. We have different forms, print forms that information should be given. I don't think anyone on council can change what a newspaper is going to print, because you can do a positive event and something can happen outside and it's going to taint your event, and your event may not have had anything to do with it. Thank you.
In short, the question is the role that the media plays in the negative perception of Trenton.
In the negative perception. Okay, so the media plays a big role, yes. I think the community has a job to step up and the community has a job to tell the positive stories that we have. I say this a lot about the Trenton public education system, that there are some great kids out there. We do need to be promoting what they are doing. I was just at the Trenton High location on the track field and saw the kids running, doing a darn good job out there. There was some press, but there wasn't any local press. So maybe as a community, we could mandate that our local press go out there and cover these stories that are positive for our community. And we ourselves need to change the stories. I think we help perpetuate some of these stories that come out in the media. So yes, that's what I want to say. I hope I answered that question.
If you're finished, Robin.
Yes. The media is a very important communication outlet. Rather it's written media, televised media, or social media. Trenton is no different than any entity. We all want to have favorable things reported about us and it. I think the media and its journalists, the Trentonian, the Trent Times, and all the various news outlets are they're producing the same level of reporting that we see on the national level, the global level. In the era of fake news, as we see throughout all media outlets, whether it be cable, local networks, et cetera, we as citizens just have to remain diligent. We have to do our own due diligence, do our own research, do our own reading, listen, and kind of understand all perspectives and viewpoints. And just do not allow a particular newspaper, rather be a Trentonia, Trent Times, CNN, whatever have you, CBS, to form your viewpoint. So I would just assess that the media, and as it reports on Trenton, our town, is doing the same expected job that we see across the country and the world. But I would say that each of us, as a citizen, has his duty to do his own due diligence, his own investigation, his own research, their own reading, and getting the facts and understanding what's going on in your city and in your nation and your world.
I think, excuse me, I believe that we as individuals, we have to empower our community, because if we believe that the media is only portraying negativity about our community, we as a community have to make change. We have to make our own news. I was at Cal Waters Park on Saturday and I met this 9th grader, and I had the pleasure of speaking with him, and he was a very, very brilliant young man. He has spoken, he has been to Washington, D.C., He gets nothing but A's in school. He's very active in school. He's just a perfect young man. And I believe that if we start promoting stuff like that in our community, we're not going to get rid of negative media, but we can turn the tide. We can turn the table. We can make our own news. And if we raise up our voices enough, the news will want to come out and promote and start talking about how good Trenton is, what our youth are doing in the city, what other individuals are doing in the city. So if we know that the media is going to talk nothing but negativity, why don't we become the media and talk about what's going on in our communities, what our young people are doing, what other businesses are doing? And if we do that, we will change the mindsetting of negativity. But as far as negativity in the media, you're always going to have it. But the question is, what are we going to do about it? Thank you.
So this next question is a dual question, so to speak, and it's around abandoned properties. What is your plan for the abandoned properties? And if you have information, share about what happened to the funds that were allocated by the state for the abandoned houses. Atalia, you were first.
I can answer number one for sure. I think that we need to work with our community and get our locals into the abandoned properties that we have. So there's programs and resources out there that would support first-time home buyers or people who are interested in buying fixer-upper homes, things of that nature. We can educate the community to look into these properties first. So I would make known what those resources are, bring it to the community so that they can make educated decisions on how to obtain those properties and go from there. Again, if we don't get in there and address why we're here first, then we will continue to go downhill with the abandoned properties. We'll still see people like myself and others move out of the community. We don't want to do that. We want to retain. So I would say just be more informative with the resources that are out there that will help the community obtain the properties. If there are buyers out there, if they're interested in buying the property, we want to make sure that they do right by the property that they're buying. So that's my plan right now. I don't have a sustainable plan. When I do obtain a sustainable plan, the community will be the first to know. I would like to collaborate with the community to see how they want to go forward with these abandoned properties. And as far as the second question, I'm not sure what happened to the funds with the state. That's my honest answer there.
Well, I just want to answer about the funds for the state. I believe the funds for the state that were given were allocated for just a particular purpose, just to stop the bleeding and just provide the resources, the funding for the demolition of these buildings. But I think the approach for the issue of the vacant properties and the abandoned buildings across the city in the West Ward should be definitely a strategic approach around economic redevelopment. So there should be a plan that comes from the mayor's administration to the council on how we are going to redevelop our city and in consideration to these properties. Rather, we're going to assess them for, as a matter of fact, I mean, you're not going to be able to, we're not going to be able to redevelop. Some of them are probably infested with mold and just are not habitable and should be demolished. But then it's the question of how do we get it redeveloped? How do we get them rehabilitated? How do we get them back to market for sale and make them, tax revenue making entities? So I would just say that we need a plan immediately from the new administration, and hopefully with the oversight of council would be one of us, to determine a plan for these buildings and abandoned properties.
Concerning our vacant buildings, I think the first thing we need to do, because a lot of our buildings are vacant because we have absentee landlords, so we need to first find the owners of these homes. Once we find the owners of these homes, then we need to make them accountable for either catching up on the taxes that they own on these properties or allow the residents to purchase these properties. Also, we have abandoned buildings that really need to be torn down. Yes, there was money given for tearing down these buildings and stuff, but I think we didn't have a great plan, because it's one thing to tear the buildings down, but then there's another thing just to leave an open lot just empty. So I think that we need to take a good look again at how whoever put this plan into action, we need to go back to the drawing board, take a look at it, and say, okay, now that we have this amount of money to tear these buildings down, what are we going to put in place of it? And I think that's the plan that really needs to take place. Thank you.
So once again, I will continue to do the work, and that is, no matter whom is the next mayor, I will continue to fight for having the entire city as a redevelopment zone. Why you would want the whole city to be a redevelopment zone is so that we don't have to have auctions. If it's a redevelopment zone, then you can develop large lots of land, and you can have small developers come in and develop property. Now, when we talk about the question, where is the money? Where is the money? The money was allocated to the city of Trenton, but the money is still with the state. The city of Trenton did not receive the money. The money was allocated in the state budget for the city of Trenton. And so there is a plan, and that plan is in the West Ward on Fountain Avenue, Sweets Avenue, and Humboldt Street. So there is a plan. The first thing is you have to get through all the regulatory processes, and that's what the administration is going through right now. It probably will not happen until there's a new mayor in place, but once you have the developer, which we have the developer, once you go through that process with the state, then the state will allocate the money to knock down the houses, and the developer will build the new houses. That's how that process works. Whenever the state or federal gives the city money, the money is done on the work basis, is allocated. It's not just given to you. You have to have a plan in place. They approve your plan, just like the plans are with the state right now. You have to go through this process. Unfortunately, government is slow. Thank you.
This next question, Robin Vaughn, you're going to start first. Please share your thoughts on the infrastructure of Trenton with a focus on the water department. Also, are you willing to sell the water department?
First, I just want to make clear that Trenton Water Works, it's one of Trenton's largest revenue-producing entity. Hence, it's not for sale. I would not propose or approve any proposal that comes from the mayor administration for selling of the Trenton Water Works. Infrastructure is something that can be rebuilt and addressed and remediated. So we'll just need to work with all levels of government in our mayor administration to ensure that we're getting adequate funding to rebuild the infrastructure to support Trenton Water Works and its delivery of clean water to our residents. The Trenton Waterworks facility, as far as resourcing over time and ensuring that it has adequate expertise to run the facility, again, that goes back to funding and training, and that should happen. It should trickle down once we get the funding to support the infrastructure, remediate it and all its ills, and ensure that the facility is resourced adequately with the skill sets and the expected and the required level of expertise.
Our whole infrastructure, everything that he said, is in need of help. The streets need repairs, everything needs repairs in the city. I know it's going to take time and it's going to cost money. So whatever the administration decides to do, I will definitely support, because our city, you drive down the streets, there's potholes. We have all kinds of issues in the city right now. So I would definitely work with those organizations that are helping with the improvement of our city. Far as our water, it's a serious problem. But no, I am not in favor, I believe that's what the second part of, I am not in favor of selling Trenton Waterworks. That's our moneymaker, and we don't need to sell it, we just need to get the right people in there. And once we get the right people in there, things will run smoothly according to the way that they should be. I think there needs to be training. Sometimes we got to go back to training. It's just like in certain jobs and certain positions, so often you have to become recertified. So let's recertify those that are already working at City Waterworks, and then we won't have this conversation about should we sell it or should we not sell it, because no, we should not sell Trenton City Waterworks. Thank you.
So I can tell you I'm 100% against selling Trenton Water. That was Governor Christie's plan before he left office. He wanted us to sell the Trenton Waterworks, and I commend the mayor and my council colleagues for standing firm in not selling the Trenton Water. The governor ran out of time. As far as infrastructure, yes, we go through this process of snow, rain, cold, and yes, we get potholes. Council just approved $100,000 to fill those potholes. So those potholes will be filled. We go through this process every year with the amount of vehicles that come in and out of the city, trucks, and you're going to have potholes. Now, when it comes to the utilities, because Public Service Electric and Gas is laying new gas lines, they are responsible to repair our streets when they complete their project. So when you drive down Stuyvesant Avenue, Hoffman, some of the other streets where they put in new gas lines, Public Service will repave those streets. Again, for the waterworks, I am not in favor of selling it. There is no talk in City Hall of selling it. The current council members are not thinking to sell Trenton Waterworks. We made it perfectly clear, Trenton Waterworks is not for sale. Thank you.
That's good to hear. I too will not want to sell the Trenton Waterworks. I believe that, again, with accountability and transparency, those are the issues that we need to address down there at Trenton Waterworks. I've spoken with several employees of the Trenton Waterworks. They are overworked right now, and issues and mistakes can be made just from them being overworked at the way they are. We need to get a director in the Trenton Waterworks that can direct properly. We need to get the vacant positions filled. This particular job, yes, it may need some certification, but it is mainly on the job training. I'm really not sure how we can make that happen, but we really need to look into making that happen as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're going to see some more issues with the remaining staff that the Trenton Waterworks have. So I would say get a new director in there, look at the people under the director and assess their position and make sure that they are performing their job to the fullest. And if they're not, then maybe we should look at reassigning them as well. That's my answer.
Okay, this next question is a two-part question. What is Trenton's economy, and is it working in the West Ward? The second part of that question is, if made legal in New Jersey, are you in favor of a cannabis marketplace? Dr. Shirley, you're up first. A repeat of the question, okay? What is Trenton's economy, and is it working in the West Ward? If legalized, are you in favor of a cannabis marketplace?
I believe to a degree it is working in the Westwood. When we look at Cowwaters Park, what they have done over there, they're doing a great job over in Cowwaters Park, so I am seeing some results. For that part two was cannabis, what? Part two.
If it's legal, are you in favor of a cannabis marketplace?
Only if it's for medical reasons, I'm in favor of it. Other than medical reasons, no, I will not be in favor of it. Thank you.
So our economy here in the city of Trenton is working for some, but it's not working for all Trentonians. And particularly in the West Ward, we have Trentonians who struggle. We have Trentonians that are living from paycheck to paycheck. And so as a city, we have to bring in workforce development to help those residents obtain more skills. And as a city, we have to attract additional businesses here to employ those residents. As far as cannabis, I am researching that. I know that Governor Murphy, that's a part of his plan to fund urban areas, and I would not want Trenton not to be a part of that funding, receiving that funding source, because as you all know, we have a structural deficit. And what that means for those that don't know what the structural deficit is that we have state buildings, school buildings, county buildings, we have hospitals, we have churches, we have all of these buildings that don't pay taxes. And so we would need a revenue source, and it could be a revenue source for the city of Trenton to deal with many of our issues that we have in the city. So am I 100% on board? Right now, I'm not. I'm doing the research. I'm getting understanding of how it affects communities. So maybe by the end of the year, I may be on board with it, but right now, I'm sort of on the fence.
What's the question again?
The question is, what is Trenton's economy, and is it working in the West Ward? The second part of it was, if legalized, are you in favor of a cannabis marketplace?
No, I don't think it's working in the West Ward. I think we have some work to do, and that's nationally. If we look at it nationally and then us locally, there's some issues, and we do need a plan. We need our incoming mayor to at least have a conversation with us about how we're going to merge ourselves with the economic situation, how it's looking nationally, and how will it affect us locally. So I don't think it's looking good for us. I think that we're resilient and we'll make some things happen, but we definitely need some plans going forward. And I am in favor of, what was the question?
If legalized,
Legalizing, yes, I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of that because it would be a great boom to our economy, and it's also pretty progressive. So yes, I'm in favor of that.
Well, the Trenton economy is struggling. However, within the West Ward, I believe that there is a plan from my perspective. One thing that we have to do citywide, but particularly in the West Ward, is look to other sources of revenue outside of raising property taxes and taxes in lieu of coming from the state or elsewhere and from other public buildings. I propose in the West Ward that we as citizens start looking at some of the commercial areas that once was thriving in the West Ward. We as citizens in the West Ward with our disposable income, we spend probably 80–90% of our disposable income outside of the borders of the West Ward. That's unacceptable for any town or city if we're looking to grow its economy. We don't have citizens from Lawrence or Hopewell or Princeton coming into the West Ward to dry clean their clothes or get their nails done or have a bagel or buy coffee. We need to get commercial districts that we have up on Sanhegan Drive, along Prospect Avenue, along Hermitage. We need to get those businesses thriving again so that we can spend our money in our community so that we grow our local economy. And until that happens, our economy will continue to decline and continue to be as flat as it is. And that's my proposal for the West Ward economy. And also, I would reckon that would be something that we could work across Trenton, that we as Trentonians need to start consuming and buying and investing in our own economy.
Thank you. This next question is from one of the youth who is in the audience. This is from 9-year-old Timothy Davis. Is Timothy still in here with us? Okay, let's give Timothy a round of applause then. First of all, thank you, Timothy, for putting a question together, number one, and for your parents or whomever it was who brought you here. Thank you to them as well. So Timothy actually submitted multiple questions, but I'm going to zero it down to this one, and it's pertaining to gun violence. His exact question: my brother was killed in 2016 by gun violence. What programs or avenues are you taking to assist in helping remove illegal guns in the city? Zach, you're up first.
So again, thank you for coming out. So one initiative that I'm working with the Latino Merchants Association and our several of our pastors, and it's not necessarily the illegal guns, but it's actually the toy guns. Because we have toy guns that are sold in our bodegas, our corner stores, our dollar stores, and what has been happening is individuals purchase those guns and they take the tip off. The tip is the fluorescent color, like the lady's hat, that's on, and it lets you know that it's a fake gun. But when you remove that tip, it's being used and they're being brought into the school district. And so one of the things that we're doing, several pastors in the Latino Merchants Association, along with the superintendent, because the policy of the school district is if a kid brings a toy gun to school, they're expelled. So we're going to put kids out of school. So our goal is to ask those retailers not to sell these guns in the city. Now, as far as illegal guns, here in the city, we all know we don't manufacture guns in the city of Trenton. We have very strict gun laws in New Jersey, and many of our guns that are here in our city comes from Pennsylvania. I will continue to support our police department and the programs and the services that the police department provides as far as shot spotter. I supported that, expanding that program, but any specific program dealing with guns, that's not anything that I have spearheaded. but I support our police department 100%. And the toy guns, we definitely want to get them out of our schools. Out of our stores. Thank you.
Thank you for such a great question, and I'm so sorry about your brother. Guns are an issue, but I think here is where the community comes in more. We need to step up more and say more. If we know or hear of someone doing something, we need to report that. We also need the police to police the hot spots where we know these gunshots are happening, where the activity is. We need the police to be there more, be more visible in those areas. And we need the community to speak up more. If it's your family member, we need you to turn them in. We need to start doing that more within the community to send the message to let them know that we're not gonna have it. I don't think that we're gonna stop illegal guns from coming in, but if we let the community know that we're not having it, then that will be one way we can assist or we can stop it from happening more, maybe. So again, the community needs to step up, and I think the police need to police those hot spots more, and that should help.
Gun control, as we all know, it's a serious issue. And I am so sorry for the loss of your brother to gun violence, as so many young children across our nation and families have endured. I would like, as a member, if I'm your elected West Ward Councilwoman, I would want to address this issue by forming alliances and new partnerships, countywide, citywide, statewide, nationally. There is a lot of work that's being done on the national level that the city of Trenton could leverage. We certainly do not need to invent the wheel or become overly innovative. We have, when you look at things that happen and nationally, and at Sandy Hook and recently in Florida, there has been a lot of activity. A lot of other towns can certainly share with us some of the things that they're implementing, and we certainly should leverage that. And I, as a council member, I would certainly reach out and form these new allies and partnerships and ensure that the city of Trenton is getting the best inputs and information and support at all levels, not just from our local state police, but also, because clearly, and resolving the gun issue is not just policing, it's going to be a holistic approach that's going to take all of our resources individually, as citizens, our government, and some nonprofit organization as well to help resolve this problem. And as a council person, I will make sure I go out and be proactive and engage these individual parties.
Gun violence is very serious, and I want to be like everyone else and say I'm really sorry for the loss. As a Trenton police chaplain, I see that on a daily basis. I'm at the hospitals when there's a shooting or something that has taken place in our community, and I experience on a day-to-day basis how those families and parents feel about gun violence. Gun violence is very serious, not just here in the city of Trenton, but surrounding cities. I'm a part of an organization called Moms Demand Action, and we are fighting against guns and the gun violence. I'm also a member of an organization called Not in My Neighborhood, where we're doing the same thing. We're fighting so that parents won't have to experience that hurt and pain. And if you're free on this coming Wednesday, I will be at the Dolly Holmes Community Center. I'm sitting on a panel, and we will be addressing the issues of gun violence. We'll be talking about the importance of educating parents how to check their children's rooms, to see who their children are hanging with, to see if there are guns and stuff in the house. So it starts with education, and we're working on it. I am support of coming together with different organizations and communities so that we can tackle this gun violence issue that we do have in the city. So once again, if you are available on this coming Wednesday at 6 o'clock, Dolly Holmes Community Center, there's a panel going on. I will be on that panel, and we will be discussing the issues with the guns. Thank you.
Sticking with the theme of safety. This next question, and it's going to be started with Atalia. You're going to answer first. What are your thoughts on community policing, and are you in favor of auxiliary police?
Yes, I am in favor, and community policing is something that my neighborhood does right now. With the cars coming into our city to buy drugs, we police our own streets. So I am in favor of community policing. I think that right now where we are in Trenton, unless the community steps up to help police Trenton, it'll get worse. So those are my thoughts. I think that we need to come out of our homes and help our neighbors, see what's going on, help the police police these neighborhoods, utilize the resources that the Trenton police have right now with the apps and the emailing and the technological advances that they have where we can communicate with them. We could utilize those to help with the community policing. So I'm in favor of both.
Yes, I am in favor of auxiliary policing and community policing. Actually, living in Hillcrest, I do a lot of that today. I support. I'm in contact with our command center in the West Ward. Anytime there's activity, unsavory activity, I make sure that I'm monitoring, calling the correct people, emailing, and etc. However, I do believe that our police department is heavily underfunded, and we need to work with the mayor, the city, and even perhaps private revenues to seek private input into how we can enhance our police department and getting those additional resources, rather it be funding or tools, getting officers on bikes, getting them on the beat, walking the community. I lived in Jersey City for a while, and I remember when that city went through a redevelopment, economic redevelopment, regentrification process. When their companies came in from financial firms, from Wall Street, moved over to the waterfront, they invested heavily into Jersey City's police department. And the Jersey City police, they were facing the same challenges that we're facing in Trenton with gun violence, car theft, robberies, and et cetera. So if we can start Trenton off with some economic redevelopment, and we get businesses and partnership, and we can kind of build a police department that can service the community in an acceptable way.
I believe that auxiliary police is necessary because it will allow our regular police officers to be able to be at certain places that they need to be. So I am definitely in favor of auxiliary police. I think it's important. They get the same training as our police officers get, just they're limited to certain things. But I believe having them is going to be a great help to our community. Community policing, I am in 100% favor with, because we do need to see officer friendlies back in our communities. And we do need our communities or our residents to develop that relationship with the police so that if something should be going on in our communities, our residents will be more subject to talk to the police. They have a more of a police-neighbor relationship where they feel comfortable with talking to the police. So I'm all for community policing as well as auxiliary policing. Thank you.
So yes, I remember when we had auxiliary police officers here in the city of Trenton, when we used to have the bike race. The auxiliary police officers monitored the bike race. Actually, at the time, my neighbor, Barry Wilcox, was an auxiliary police officer. So I do support that. As far as community policing, I'm going to continue to fight to bring back a full complement of our police department. In 2010, our police department was decimated when we had those layoffs. And we have not had true community policing since those layoffs. And so I'm going to continue to fight, not only for a full complement of our police department, but another thing that I've presented to our current mayor was in our partnership with the state police and Amtrak police, expand their patrol areas around the train station for Amtrak police officers, and then expand the location for the state police in the downtown area, because they monitor the state buildings anyway. That would free up our officers to be out in the other community in those areas. So those are some of the things that I will continue to fight for, but we do need the funding to bring back our police officers. And if the state of New Jersey paid its fair share, its full $84 million to the city, we would have more police officers and an auxiliary police department, and we wouldn't have a funding issue. But we have to get them to pay their fair share.
Okay, Robin, you're going to answer this question first. And it's regarding Trenton's closed public libraries. Please share your thoughts about them being closed now and what your plan, if you have one, to open new ones.
Well, like you, I enjoy reading, and I grew up having at my disposal and walking and riding my bike to a Trenton local library that's within our borders. I absolutely is just very dismayed that we don't have any libraries and they have shut down, and I think it's critical that they open as soon as possible. Whatever resources that we can get while on council, if I'm elected, that should be one of the priorities, to get the public libraries back opening for our community, not just only for our students and the youth, but also folks like myself, continue education adults, and just folks who just enjoy reading and continuing education and development. Oh, and I just wanted to, I'm sorry, and what my plans are, I don't have a current plan, but my plan is once I'm elected to council, that would be one of my priorities, to get our public libraries open.
I believe that the libraries were the heart of the city because children had a place to go to do their homework. They had a place to go to do research. I remember I used to be in a library doing a whole lot of research and study, so I know the importance of having a library. Of course, I was very disappointed to find out how our libraries have deteriorated. Right now, we have the public library downtown, and I had the pleasure the other day with meeting with Patricia Hall. I heard her heart, I heard her concerns concerning the libraries, and I would definitely work with those who are planning to restore. Now, let's not get it twisted. Some libraries, we cannot restore them. They're just too bad to be restored. But those that can We really need to focus on that because the libraries are the heart of the city. And like I said, I would be in 100% in supporting those that are concerned about reopening or rebuilding or redeveloping our libraries here in the city of Trenton.
So we do have 2 libraries that are functioning in the city of Trenton. We have the one on Academy Street, which offers a host of programs for our youth. And we also have the State Library, which is located on West State Street next to the planetarium, the museum. I too spoke with Director Patricia Hall at the library, and she explained to me the plan that the library system currently have. And in sharing her plan with the superintendent of schools, the superintendent is going to reach out to the library and the library board to talk about opening up our school libraries in the areas where we don't have access to libraries. And I just want everyone to keep in mind that the libraries closed because of the cut in funding. The libraries were not funded directly from the city. Those funds came from the state, $2 million. And when Governor Christie came into office and we had the layoffs, the libraries was a part of that cut. No one on city council, the first year that, the first term that I was on or this term, was in favor of closing libraries. But there is a plan, the library board has a plan, the school district is talking about a plan. So bring those 2 together to see how the Trenton library system and the school district can work together to provide libraries in each of our wards. And I, as the West Ward councilman, I will continue to work with the superintendent of schools and the director of the library to make that happen. Thank you.
I, like everybody here, agree that the libraries are important. I think we probably should have a conversation about the realities of them opening. If there are such plans available, I think those plans should be made available to the community. That's something, if I'm elected, I will do. I want the community to be involved in the decisions and the planning of the city. So there's not much I can say about the libraries other than that I am in favor. If there are people planning to open or expand upon, I am willing to work with those people to make that happen because they are that important.
Our seniors, and I like to say our seasoned population, are often living in silos. What programs do you support to improve the lives of our seasoned residents? Dr. Shirley, you're first.
One thing that I will do, I will meet with our seniors and I would hear what it is that they want, what is their desire. I think it starts right there with the seniors because we need to hear their hearts. And I'm thankful that I am actively involved with our seniors in the community. So the best thing to do is to hear their heart first. What is it that they want? What is it that they desire? Because they are the heart of our community. They have paid their dues to our communities, and they deserve to have their last years comfortable. So my thing would be actually to hear their plan and then help motivate them to implement their plans on what it is that they desire and what they want. Because I can easily say, I'm going to do this and do that. That might not be what they want. So my focus would be first to hear what it is that they want. And some of the things that I have personally spoken with seniors, they're concerned about their buildings. They're concerned about not having heat. They're concerned about not having the proper equipment in their buildings for handicap accessible. They have a lot of concerns, so I would want to tackle their concerns and do my best to make it comfortable for them. So my first priority would be to hear their concerns, because it starts there and then goes to phase 2. Thank you.
So I will continue to call out the bingo numbers for them because we do that quite often with our seniors. The main thing that I've noticed at our senior centers, so we need to be clear that the city has senior centers, and then there are private apartment building owners that have programs in their building, and then you have the Trenton Housing Authority that have programs in their building. So what I've noticed in our senior center here in the West Ward is we don't have enough participation. So we have seniors who don't come out and partake of the services in our senior building, senior center. So one of the things that I will work on is to get more of those residents out to participate, because they do have bingo, they do go shopping, they go to Columbus, they go to Atlantic City, they go and have a good time. But we don't capture all of our seniors here in the West Ward. And we do have residents who live in the North Ward that attend the West Ward Center. As long as you are a resident of the city of Trenton, you can participate in one of our senior centers in the programs, and we just don't have the numbers. We have seniors that come, but we can get many more to come and participate in those programs. Thank you.
So I too went out and spoke with the seniors, and what a lively bunch. And they do want to participate more in the communities. One of the issues, particularly with visiting City Hall for the council meetings and things of that nature, is transportation. They can't get there. I was told, I don't know how many years ago, it used to be buses or shuttles that would come get them and transport them to the City Hall meetings. So they do want to be involved more. I think that because of funding issues, we're limited in how they're involved. We can be creative in our ideas with getting them involved. I asked a question to them: would they be willing to work with the youth for whatever reason, be it in the community, be the youth come into the senior citizen buildings to help out with whatever, and they were very much open to that. So I think for the seniors themselves, like you said, it would be asking them what they want and incorporating them more, getting the communication out so that they are aware of the programs and the resources and everything else that's in the community.
Yes, we have to support our seniors because I'm going to become a senior citizen soon. My 55th birthday is upon me. So I get a lot of notes and letters from AARP. But nonetheless, I spend a lot of time in the senior homes, both the ones that are managed by Trenton Housing Authority and the couple that are in the West Ward that are privately owned. And yes, the seniors are very aware of things that they need, and they're very willing to share and articulate the issues. One of the main priorities for them is to sustain the funding that allows for them to have consistent and affordable housing. So I will, as a council person, I will maintain my proactivity in making sure that senior assisted living and independent living individuals are comfortable with knowing that they will have that their homes will, and their cost of living will be sustainable. They're also concerned with the quality and the infrastructure and the old and how the buildings are growing old, and that they're not well maintained by the city, and they're not getting responses back and getting these fixes remediated from weak electric circuit boards and the have you, lack of accessibility. So I will definitely be working to be proactive in addressing a lot of the senior issues. And yes, there are a long list of them. And as a council representative, I will certainly ensure that they're represented and addressed.
Trenton has a diverse population with many different languages spoken. Do you think this is an asset? Why or why not? And how will you expand the communication in different languages? And Zach, you're up first.
So yes, the city of Trenton is very diverse. We have a very diverse population. And the second part of the question was?
Do you think this is an asset? Why or why not? And how will you expand communication in different languages?
Sure, I believe that it's an asset, definitely, because when you bring different cultures together, that brings more people into your city. As you all know, we have what we call the Polish district in the North Ward. There you've seen growth. They now have their own bank there. They shop in that community. So we can do the same thing here in the West Ward, increase our businesses. There was a second.
How will you expand communication in different languages?
So that's something that we need to work with the administration, because I know that in many communications, we have it in English and we have it in Spanish, but we do have other population here in the city, and that's something that we would have to look at as a city, because communication has been a major issue here in the city. It's getting information out to the community. Folks say, put it in the newspaper, you put it in the newspaper, and folks will say, well, I didn't see it in the newspaper. So we have to use all of our social media, all of our newspapers to get information out to folks, and we will have to look into putting that in the different languages that we have here in the city of Trenton to be more, to provide more communication to residents. Thank you.
Diversity is great. I welcome that, but I think the issue here is we go into our pockets of community. So what I would like to see is we engage one another more so that we can learn what the different cultures are and learn how to communicate better with them. I'm sorry. I'm for diversity, but we need to come out of our pockets of community.
Okay. And how will you expand communication in different languages?
Interacting more. We can start in the schools. I think we've already done a great job at English/Spanish. I don't know how many other languages there are we can incorporate, but it starts at school and then interacting with your community.
Jacque, you're going to have to repeat that question for me.
Trenton has a diverse population with many different languages spoken. Do you think this is an asset? Why or why not? And how will you expand communication in different languages?
Yes, of course. Diversity is our strength, and I certainly believe that. I live it every day. I'm always part of a diverse population. As far as the language of these populations, I wasn't aware either that Trenton has a population of many languages that exist across it. However, I believe in technology, and the best way to be able to facilitate something of this nature is via technology. And it starts in the school districts and in the education. And as these kids matriculate through the school district, we as council folks and working with our mayor and our residents and our parents, we want to make sure we understand what the requirement is, who these children are, and who their parents are, and where they're residing, what countries they're coming from, and et cetera, to be able to understand what level of support the city will need to provide, whether it's in the schools, whether it's in the local churches, community, or whatever have you. So I would say we have to do an assessment, but certainly we have no choice absolutely to support it. They are Trentonians, and we will provide any service that we need to provide to have them to be able to engage them. And language is the only way we can engage, and I'm all for civic engagement at every level, so I am all for getting folks the necessary tools that they need to communicate.
I think diversity is good to have in our communities because it gives us a perspective on how to interact with people that aren't like us, people that come from different places, different countries. So I welcome it. I'm very supportive of that, and I also love what Woodrow Wilson School in the city of Trenton is doing. That school is very diverse, and they're teaching their elementary children. The ones that speak Spanish, they're teaching them English. The ones that teach English, they're teaching them Spanish. And I'm all for it because I think it's good that we all learn different languages. Therefore, we can relate or understand when someone is saying to us, and just not only speaking language, even sign language. That's a language, and they have a program that you can get that's on DVD, and it actually teaches you how to do sign language. So I believe that it's important. I welcome it. I think it's good because we can learn their culture, they can learn ours, and I just think I think diversity is great.
Okay, this question is from an audience member. I'd like to have the timekeeper go to 1 minute to answer this question. 1 minute. Natalia, you will be first. Okay, the question is, what will be your 30, 60, and 90-day benchmarks to show West Ward residents you are active in our ward and in our neighborhoods? And they finished by saying, good luck.
So since my platform is accountability and transparency, I would like to go in and assess the situation down at City Hall, and I want to report back to West Trenton what I found the issues to be and how we can move forward as a community. I don't know if that can happen in 30 days or 60 days or whatever the time frame is, but that's one of my immediate goals because I think that's an issue. We have great ideas, we even have resources out here that not everybody gets a chance to utilize, but there are things out here in the community that are helpful to the community. So I want to make sure that I go in and assess what the issues are and relay that information back to the community so we can make a plan on how I should move forward.
If elected, the first thing that I would like to do within a 30, 60, 90-day period is to first and foremost forge a relationship with all my counterparts on council. Understand all our strengths and weaknesses and what we bring to the table and what we can leverage across each other in order to be very successful and collaborative and cohesive. Then I would like us to all meet with the mayor, the newly elected mayor, to understand what his vision is and what his plans are for the city, and particularly us in the West Ward. I would then want to also forge a relationship with all of his direct reports as it relates to his directors of all his agencies and departments to get an understanding of what their plans are. And then also hold a community meeting within the West Ward to understand, again, take a listing of what your concerns are. And I would definitely want to gather that evidence and that assessment and bring it back into council for their review. And I would hope that my counterparts in other councils don't think that.
I will continue to do what I'm doing right now, and that's working in the community. I won't stop from doing that. I will continue to do that. I would definitely, once I'm elected as the next council person, I would definitely like to work with the other councils and try to encourage us to encourage our neighbors within that 30, 60, 90-day period to come to city council meetings so that they can hear what's going on in city council. Be more involved. I would want in 30, 60, 90 days to try to get our residents more involved at city council meetings so that they can actually see what's going on and they can hear what's going on, and the things that they don't understand, maybe we or me, along with the others that I look forward to working with, that we can give them a better understanding of city council, how it works, and what's going on. And I hope and pray that I can do that within the 30, 60, and 90 days. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So in the minute that I have, the first 30 days, I would meet with my council colleagues and have a board retreat the first 30 days. Within that 60 days, then we would want to sit down and meet with whomever is the mayor. And then in that 90 days, then to be able to come back to the residents of the West Ward and report back to them, what are the goals of council, what is the goal of the mayor, and then begin to govern from there. Thank you.
All right, this is our final question. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Oftentimes people don't understand that when you do forums/debates, the idea is to make the candidates who are here not feel comfortable. That's why you don't give them the questions and everything up front, because you want to know how they're going to react in different situations. So you all have been a fantastic audience. That's right, give yourselves a round of applause. So at this point, this is the final question, and this is your last chance, at least tonight, to share about your platform, your concerns. If you'd like to share about something specific, please make sure that you do that. Timekeeper, please set the time to 3 minutes. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to share as much information as you can or as you would like about what you would like. I would also say keep in mind that there are going to be more people who see this through social media and hear this through social media. So just make sure that you cast a very wide net, okay? And Robin, you are up first.
Okay. It's time for the West Ward to elect an official that listens, understands, and has the best interests of its people in mind. I will work to make our city and our community a better place to live, work, and play. I will focus on and act proactively to grow our economy with identifying other sources of revenues, assessing sustainable regulations, decreasing crime, and continue to improve our schools, basic services, facilities, landscape, and infrastructure. I pledge to keep an eye on costs so that property taxes increases are balanced with marked progress measured against delivery of services, i.e. snow removal, street repairs, clean parks, and public spaces. I will support initiatives that benefit and enhance businesses, nonprofit, and faith-based organizations. It will provide better jobs that attract families and young professionals. I will encourage consumption of goods and services within our neighborhood and city borders. I will promote affordable housing, quality rentals, and while keeping costs stable, quality senior, assisted, and independent living, as well as personal home improvements for home ownership. Together, we are aiming for a city and community where every person has a fair chance to flourish and access beneficial opportunities. I offer intelligent and achievable solutions. I will be energetic, approachable, courageous, and determined voice for the West Ward and the City of Trenton. Vote for Robin Vaughn, #1 position on the ballot for West Ward Councilwoman.
Once again, I want to thank Mercer Streets for bringing us all together. Jacque, thank you, and I want to thank the West Ward residents for coming out to hear all of us that are running for this particular position. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. Now, West Ward residents, I want to talk directly to you. I don't have all the answers concerning what can and cannot be done for our community. Neither do I know it all. But one thing that I do know, and that is I will bring professionalism to City Hall. I will be transparent and I will be available. I will work for you. I care about public safety in our community. I care about the quality of life in our community. And I'm confident that I'm capable of doing my job if I'm your next council person. I know there are a lot of things that needs to be done in our communities, but I can't do it without you. I need your help, and I need your support to help rise up the West Ward again. The West Ward is not going to rise up without your help. We need the community to work with us. I need to hear your concerns. I need to know that if I'm going to lead, that you will follow. I need to know that you will be there when I attend the meetings, when I become a part of the civic associations in the community. I'm going to be active in the community. I will be accessible. You will be able to reach me on Tuesdays and Thursdays down at City Council chambers. You will have my email. You will have a phone number where you can contact me and say, this is my concern. What do you think that can be done concerning this issue? Because I believe that what we need is a person to represent our community. And if you're ready for change in City Hall, I will be your representative. I am number 2 on the ballot. And I'm number 2 on the ballot because I will represent you, the residents of the West Ward. Thank you. God bless you and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Good evening again. I'm Zachary Chester, the current West Ward Councilman and City Council President. It is my desire to serve the residents of the West Ward for another term. Some of my accomplishments. I supported the Thomas Edison State University demolition of Glen Claren Arms, and now we have a $16 million nursing facility on West State Street. As many of you know, that project has sat there for over 20 years. I was a big supporter of that project. Down the street from that project, there's currently 32 market rate units being built in the 300 block of West State Street. I worked with nonprofits and West Ward organizations to receive grant funding. I support and voted for all of our federal grant funding to keep our firefighters. Some of my platform items is to hold absentee landlords accountable for their properties and their maintenance of their properties. We need to increase our penalties for illegal dumping. As we know, that is a major issue here in the city of Trenton, and there is a difference between littering and illegal dumping. We have folks who come into our city and they dump furniture, carpet, construction debris, and we need to stiffen our penalties for that. We want to educate and inform our city residents about our sanitation ordinances. Many people don't like to hear this, but it is the truth. Our city is filthy because of us that live here. We have to keep our community clean. We have to do that. I come out of my house, I see trash in front of my home. I don't say, I'm not gonna pick it up. I live there. And I'm gonna work with West Ward residents and civic associations to get people that live in their community involved in their community cleanups. Public safety, as I stated before, I'm going to fight for full funding to bring back our police department, our full force, so that then we can have true community policing. And also, I plan to continue to work with the administration to move our city forward. Working with the administration does not necessarily mean that you are a rubber stamp. It means that you truly want to move your city forward. And each council member has to look at the administration and work with them. Thank you.
My platform is accountability, transparency, and community. Good governance is both effective and efficient. When we begin to hold the elected officials and department heads accountable, we can begin the process of being effective. When we require the transparency of city's business, we begin the process of becoming efficient. The biggest job I would have as a city council member would be to ensure the budget remains in line and reflective of the growth that the collective wants to see. A city that remains under mismanagement will remain in dysfunction. I want to represent, advocate, and communicate. So with your vote on May 8th, I'm number 4 on the ballot. The power is in the people. Thank you.
Talia is always quite quick, isn't she? So this concludes our program, but there's just a couple of things I want to make sure that everyone understands. In 2014, we had a population of approximately 80,000 people in Trenton, with approximately 40,000 registered to vote, and approximately 10,000 exercised that right and privilege, with approximately 5,000 hiring Eric Jackson as our mayor. That speaks volumes to where our dysfunction could lie. It behooves us to really consider what we're going to do going forward as a community. We're going to elect 5 of 8 people will be new in this election term. It behooves us to get the vote out, for us to make sure that we're past the time to register, but if you are registered, please make sure that you exercise that right and privilege, and keep in mind the people who went before us to give us that opportunity and that privilege. So on behalf of Mercer Street Friends, I'm Jacque Howard of the Trenton 365 Show. This concludes our program. We are also having another forum in the South Ward this coming Monday as well. Thank you very much. Get home safe and good night.